Hi, it's Wasabi. Welcome back to the channel. This video is a review of the new Chinese heavy tank at Tier 8, the BZ-176. It's a premium vehicle. Just go through some of the characteristics of the tank and then we'll do some gameplay and give you an idea of whether it's worth having. Alright, so let's have a look at the tank first. Sort of the unique characteristic of this tank are these pipes on the sides at the rear. There are actually rocket boosters. Now, what tank needs rocket boosters? Well, yeah, this is a heavy tank, so it's relatively slow. And you activate these boosters just like you go into speed mode on the wheel vehicles by pressing X, but you only get 4 boosts, and each boost lasts for 10 seconds, so you have to sort of choose them wisely. You might use them to get into a position quickly or to escape from a position quickly. Now, it only works when you're going forward, just by the way. It doesn't help you in reversing. But it adds about 20 kilometers an hour to your speed. So if you're doing 25 over ground and you press it, you'll get up to about 45 kilometers per hour for that 10 seconds. So yeah, maybe crossing a gap or just getting up to an important point, particularly going uphill, you might find that it's useful to deploy the rocket boosters. But yeah, it's certainly up to you when you use them, but you'll get indicators in game to show you, how many you've used and how long each one is lasting. So all right, that's probably the main characteristic. The other thing, let's talk about the gun. So we've got a 160mm gun. It's a bit like the Caliban here. The standard shell is armor piercing with average penetration of 208 at standard range and a very high average damage of 650. And then the premium round is AG, which increases the pen to 225. So not a huge change, but enough to make you pen certainly the same tier and lower tier vehicles. It's sort of pretty reasonable thing, but it bumps up the damage to average around about 750. So you can basically one-shot some tanks with this thing. That's going to be an interesting thing. So again, a bit like the Caliban in that respect. Apart from that, let's have a look at the main characteristics. So again, with the standard round characteristics, so 650 average damage, we talked about 2.5 rounds a minute, so it's pretty slow reloading time. We don't have a crew in this tank or any modules, so this is the raw numbers. 24 seconds to load the gun. Gun traverse speed is pretty reasonable for a heavy tank. 10 degrees gun depression, also quite good. Aiming time 3.3, but again with the long load time, that's probably not such a big hindrance. 0.44 dispersion, that's really just pretty much any very large caliber guns suffer from high dispersion, but you can obviously bring that down with your crew skills. And then average DPM of 1600, so not fantastic, and you probably get that up to around about 2000 with decent crew and equipment and so on. But yeah, this is going to be more for putting one careful shot into a tank and getting a lot of HP out of it. So 1550 hit points is reasonable. Hull armor 240 on the front of the hull and 250 on the turret, and you can see it's got some nice angles on it too, so it's going to be fairly bouncy. 152 on the side of both the hull and the turret, and 60 on the rear of both the hull and the turret, so very similar armor patterns depending on which side you're facing. All right, mobility, 600 horsepower engine, 57 tons, and there you go, jumps up to 1500 with the boosters running. But as I said, they only boost for 10 seconds at a time and you get 4 shots. Specific power without the boost is 10.5, so that's getting to be below average in terms of power and affecting your maneuverability, and then more than doubles when the boost is on. So top speed normally 30, but I think you'll find that over normal terrain it's around about 25, and 15 reverse is sort of also pretty average. Yeah, look at that, 1 kilometer per hour in reverse. If you happen to put the boosters on and you've made a mistake, yeah, that won't really help you. All right, traverse speed 30, it's not too bad. I mean, it's heavy tank, and yeah, that's the jet booster principle. 4 jet boosters for 10 seconds each is what that means. So concealment, nothing special. What's the view range? 380, actually not too bad for a heavy tank at tier 8, so decent view range there. Alright, well that's probably the main characteristics of the tank. So we'll go into some gameplay just to illustrate how it can play in a game and what you can expect in terms of its handling and accuracy and that sort of stuff. So let's switch to a battle. Okay, so we're on the Pilsen map and you can see the equipment we've got loaded is the turbo, improved aiming and vertical stabilizer. So typically if you can mount a vertical stabilizer, then you do that. I've managed to use a bonded version of that just to try and improve the dispersion on the move. Alright, there you go. So there's your rockets running. So we press the X key and you can see the timer there in the middle of the screen there, lasting 10 seconds, and you can see the recharging and that we've got 3 left, and we just use the boost again. You can see the speed gets up to 48, 49, so you're just touching 50k. So depending on the ground that you're travelling over and ground resistance. But yeah, pretty much as we get, here we go, just using another one, just using as many as we need to get to the right position effectively, but also to show off sometimes. So anyway, see how it goes. So here we go, speed on the normal ground. Now we're doing 30 k's, so yeah, not too bad. But yeah, otherwise when you're in normal mode, it's just pretty sluggish. Okay, so we have spotted a Skoda who's moved up fairly far, so not that bad. Put in a shot there, shot on the move, but below it connects, it doesn't penetrate, so it's a bit sad. Okay, we've got a couple of 07RH firing HE at us. And here we go for the ram to start with. We'll do a bit of ram, and as we're on the reload, you can see a pretty long reload. We fire, but he gets taken out by Lorraine 40T, so don't get any joy from that, but we do get the ramming damage. Alright, the Lorraine telling us to fall back. Not sure that we're too interested in that. But we're now getting targeted by Artie, being spotted. So that you can see a couple of enemy tanks are pushed right up. Let's just make them a bit higher, so maybe we can put some rear shots into them. Just looking for the outline. Okay, there we've got, I don't know, 703 gets taken out, and we've got the Skoda there. 749, there you go, nice high damage. So that, now we are using just the HE shells here, so we do need to penetrate to do damage, otherwise we'll do half of the damage roughly. But already up to 1100 hit points of damage. And we've bounced 860 as well, so that's, it's got pretty substantial frontal armour, and we're top tier in this game. It's a tier 7, tier 8 game, so we are top tier heavy tank. And now trundling along, hoping we're not going to get spotted too far. The further we get, then the less chance it will be we'll get shot from the platform to our right. Okay, we have been spotted. Something's in the bushes here, and there you go. T103 punishes us, and the T43, oh, here we know, here's who's spotting us. There you go, T25 to one-shotted, 850 hit points of damage. T43 jobs us again, and this time bounces. I think that was a blind shot. We should be unspotted at this stage. And we've used our repair kit. We're only using a standard repair kit here. And we're just going to keep pushing on and see how far we go. Now, there's a target behind us, but we'll just have to ignore that. See if we can find that T103. Oh, he's just lost hit points. That's no good. But doesn't matter. Let's see if we can get rid of him. No, he's gone. So that's alright. Well, here we got another tank. Okay. 738 damage into the SU-152, so that's a full penetration. That's nice, and we just duck behind some cover here while we are reloading. And there you go, we've got a Another SU, and he's been taken down to 36 hit points, so we're not going to get a lot from that. Oh, he puts in a big hit, so might just have to get rid of him to stop getting damaged. But no, he gets taken out again. Do to get some minor spotting damage there, but actually got 2400 assisted damage so far. That's pretty good. It's just from pushing up, I guess. So that's no light tanks on this side of the map. Just testing to see whether we get spotted. We've got a Leo pretending to be a light tank going out in front. And here we go, downhill, 35 kilometres an hour, 36. Yeah, so this 40 kilometres per hour top speed, not really going to get it, I don't think, without the boost. We've used all that boost, so we're just trundling along. So do a blind shot there. We expect Artie to be in the back there. They've got that GW Panther that pasted us before. We don't have any real targets. They're all down on that 1-2 line pretty much. And there you go. Artie confirmed in that spot, but we don't know exactly where. Hopefully he'll get spotted. You can see our view range circle getting almost to the edge of the map, so that's good. Put another blind shot in. Now we're capping the base here really just to try and draw someone out. If we get them to come back, we might be able to shoot them. Is this going to work? That's the question. Well, the Artie keeps firing that way. He's actually got a kill on the Leo. It's a bit sad. But anyway, don't think we'll stay here too long. So let's go and try and find the Artie and then come back and see if we can get any more targets. There's only 3 tanks left on the enemy side. Well, there's the Artie, full 360 hit points. We should be able to get him. He knows he's spotted there, but gets sent back to the garage. So there's only 2 tanks left. That's just brought up a 3k damage. That's not too shabby. Not quite twice our hit points, but we're getting there. So there's only 1 tank left and he doesn't have all his hit points. Yeah, he's not going to last, won't get there in time. And there he goes, taken out. That's the T-43 that shot us. Alright, so it gives you an idea of the gameplay. Let's go and have a look at the results and the economics. Alright, so here's the results. 3k of damage, or just under 3.1, 2 kills, 1220 blocked, and 2.4k of assisted damage. So that's given us an Ace Tanker Mastery Badge. That's nice. Steel wall for the blocking. Let's look at the overall score, 1307, right on the money for an Ace Tanker, so that's good. That'll stand up then for other players. Got good support there from the UDES, but he coughed up the spotting damage to us. I think that's how we got more experience. And the Alpine Tiger on the other side, 3.8, and the CC67 getting really good scores, so they would have been a bit unhappy with their game, but it was the breaks. Now, all right, economics. Let's look at this first. So, earned 85k. This was a standard account. Would have been 127 with a premium. Some repair costs. Now, we were using the premium ammunition, which is 7.2k credits per shell. So remember that. We also paid for all of our consumables, given that this was a press account, so we couldn't pre-purchase anything. So we made a net loss of 6k. If we'd had a premium account, it would have been a profit of 36. So it's about right for the tier, but let's explain why there was such a big difference there. So we fired 8 shots, only 5 hit, and we did fire 2 blind shots at least. I can't remember what the third one was, but at 7k, that's so 3 shells that didn't do anything, plus 1 that actually got eaten by tracks as well. So half of the shells, so it's 28k of credits that basically gone down the drain in that respect. So you do have to be a bit careful about your blind shots with this tank, I'd say. But nonetheless, with a premium count, I think you'll recover that with the big alpha getting you the damage and the XP. So that would have been a tidy XP with a premium count as well, but 1307 base, that's what this is based on. So all in all, not a bad tank. I think you'd be happy to have this in your garage. Yeah, again, a bit like the Caliban in terms of the gun. It's not an auto loader, so that bit's different, but has got a fairly slow reload. but big alpha and aim time that goes with that because of the size of the caliber of the gun. So yeah, if you're buying some loot boxes, this would be the one that you want to get, I reckon, out of the choice of the tanks, although I haven't looked at the Soviet heavy tank yet. And we'll have just an overview of the French light tank, the Tier 9, so coming up, but I think this is probably the choice of it. Yeah, is the rocket a bit of a gimmick? Well, yes it is, but look, it does actually do something useful. You just only get 4 shots of it, and for 40 seconds total of gameplay, you've got to basically choose when and where you want to use it, and yeah, make the most of it. But yeah, it's there, it works. Doesn't make it more overpowered that way. Just gets you into position a little bit faster. Anyway, hope you liked the video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed to the channel already, please consider doing that. We'll have more great content to follow. Thanks very much for watching.